Welcome to Android Faithful, your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the wide, sometimes weird, but always wonderful world of Android. I'm Huyen Doud.
And I am Ron Richards. How you doing, Huyen? Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's been a good week.
Yep, here we are, episode number 6. We're very excited, and you all can't see it, but we can see it behind the scenes, and maybe he'll do it again because he's dancing to the music.
No, he won't. I was just trying to mess you guys up while you were doing your intro.
We got the benefit of the Doud, or we're very lucky because we have the benefit of the Doud today in Adam Doud.
Yay! Hello,
friend of the
thank you
show
for having me on. Very awesome.
Adam is a friend of the show, but Adam, for those of us who are new fam in the Android Faithful, please tell people about yourself and what you do.
Well, I'm a freelance tech reviewer and editor. I edit over at SlashGear, and I review for both SlashGear and Forbes. Mostly mobile, but I do some fun computer stuff and consumer electronics and stuff like that. So if you want to read my words, you can find them at slashgear.com and forbes.com. But if you want to see this beautiful face, you can find that at youtube.com/benefit of the Doud.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, you were a frequent guest on our previous show, and we're glad to have you back in the mix here on Android Faithful. Definitely for sure. It's good stuff. And
in celebration of your new show, I wanted to raise a glass for you.
Not only are you raising a glass, but you're raising, is that a Robin by Nextbit glass?
That is a Robin by Nextbit glass.
I didn't even know that existed. Wow.
That is circa CES 2016.
Wow.
I stole 2 of these, and one of them actually just broke last week. So this is the last one, and I'm using it to toast you.
Thank you for risking.
Thank you. I don't have a Nextbit glass, but I got my Indiana Jones glass, so I will.
I'm lame. I just have my big old Yeti thing of water. I should have gotten a drink. I should have, especially for Adam. I'm so happy, Adam, because last time your last appearance in the old show, I missed it, and that was actually legit. One of the things I was said, I was like, oh, not gonna get to hang out with Adam and stuff anymore. Never mind. We have a new show. That was really the excuse. We just made a new show so that we could hang out with you, Adam.
Exactly. I mean, we can hang out on Threads because we both do that Threads thing.
The Threads thing.
Yeah. So, and the show is also up on Threads. And in fact, you can go to androidfaithful.com where you can find all our links to social and all the links to subscribe to the show and everything there. And please head over to patreon.com/androidfaithful. Support the show. We love our patrons. They are so awesome, and they get to help us pick stuff to talk about on the show, which is awesome. So thank you, everybody on the patron side of things. It's good to have you back. For sure. And it's a good time to mention also, if you tune in at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, you can watch this show record live. We are currently live. We're recording live. Audio listeners, what you're listening to is what happens live. We do very little editing, just so you know. But during the show, everybody on Twitter and on YouTube, you can help us pick a title on the show. If you go to af.showbot.tv, and there you can enter in your suggestions for the title of the show. We love the live people who are participating over on twitch.tv/gooddayinternet and youtube.com/dailytechnewsshow. We love our DTNS fam. Thank you, everybody, for that. So keep the show titles coming on the live show. That's the only way you can do it is by watching live. So that's how you want to do it. So awesome.
May I suggest a combination of the first and third one and just call it Doud AF?
That's a good idea. Good idea.
Do that.
All right, so we still don't have any sort of bumpers or anything like that, which is on the list of things to do, but we'll get there at some point. But that said, let's get into the news. And first up, we were talking before the show went live, about how we're in a very heavy Samsung cycle, and we're going to get to that in a little bit, thanks to you, Adam. But Pixel 8 is on the horizon, and the leaks, they are a leaking. And sure enough, the most recent leak has to do with Pixel 8 Pro, a video leaked out on X or whatever it is that's called now, revealing not only a lovely new blue color that we haven't seen the Pixel in, but a new feature called Audio Magic Eraser. And if you are familiar with, and here I have the video that in question. If you are familiar with the concept of Magic Eraser, you know that was the Google Photos feature that allows you to remove people from the background and things like that. And Audio Magic Eraser is probably what it suggests, which lets you take out audio from your videos and identify sounds and pull them out and take out any noise. So is this the next evolution of the Magic Eraser world, or Adam, what did you think when you saw this?
Oh
feature?
God, I hope so. As a podcaster, oh my God, that's amazing. I mean, also I should say, as a podcaster, I think we're all pretty familiar with, just noise reduction and noise reduction algorithms that you can run to get rid of that pesky fan in the background. But I mean, like, I'm going to be interested to see like how well this works with like sudden noises. Like, noise reduction is great with like but like with dog barking or something like that. I would love to hear like how that's gonna go, because I mean, if they can do that, then oh yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and this is yet another extension of Google's AI and what Google's AI can do. And it is funny because like that idea of the dog bark or like the burst of sound, like I don't know if it's AI, but we use tools on this show. Like when we export it, there's a great tool called Levelator that I think is the podcaster's best friend, right? That uses technology to make our audio all sound of the same level. But like you said, if somebody's got a fan going or if there's some sort of line noise in there, there's nothing we can do about it. I guess my interesting thought about this is that it's all phone based and the media's got to be on your phone in order for it to work. Like, will it be how will it help, filmmakers or podcasters or things like that when if it's just, kind of cell phone footage or stuff like that, when we actually have media that you'd want to use this tool for, it'd be nice to see it kind of extended out to the web or something. But I know it's one of those Pixel kind of, fun things that you get for having a Pixel. I don't know. What do you think of it?
I like it a lot. I would like to see Ridley Scott. I know I keep talking about Ridley Scott, but I think he did a movie for Samsung. But it would be fun to see like eventually the eventual Pixel made movie. I don't know. I'm sure Google has enough money to make that happen. But no, I like this evolution a lot, especially as as we get bigger. I mean, video just seems to be now as ubiquitous as photo, for better for worse. With your TikToks and your reels and your shorts and everything like that. And I don't know. I just like anything that kind of empowers people either doing video for themselves for their kids or for trying to, be the next thing on YouTube, for better for worse. So I like it. I kind of wonder if they will eventually, maybe, I don't know, not anytime soon, but if Google will eventually, open up, the magic erasers to everybody, because they kind of started doing that with the visual one, but maybe for right now, while it's still kind of new, experimental, and also kind of like the new hatness, it'll just be exclusive. And I want to know what the blue colorway color is, because I think last week
I was going to go back to it. I
want to know what that color name is.
All right, we don't know what it is as of yet. We just know that it's a blue colorway.
Because we had licorice something in haze last week.
I feel like it's going to be something sky or or dreams, or I don't know.
I believe that particular color on the iPhone was called Pacifica, which was the less good blue, by the way. Apple. If you're watching, because Apple definitely watches this show.
Oh, for sure, yeah, they're right on top of it, right? So, all right, well, yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's another one of those things that will make that Google hopes you'll want to buy their Pixel because you can fix the audio on it. Cool. So, Huyen, what else is going on? Not so much Pixel, but in the realm of Android.
Yes, we are getting close here. We are on Android 14 beta 5 rolling out, and this is the third and final, platform, this is the third and final stop on the platform stability train and on the OS release timeline. So I think episode number 1, Ron took an over under on whether Android 14 would release before or after Labor Day. And given that we're getting Android 14 beta 5 on today, August 15th, I don't know, Ron, you feeling pretty good about those odds? Like,
I am. I mean,
yeah, no.
did I said after Labor Day, right?
You said before.
Before Labor Day.
After, and we said.
Oh
before.
yeah, right now I don't feel good about that because Labor Day is not far off. It's like 2 weeks away, and so like we need to go back and see what the gap between the last beta and the release was. But with no event on the horizon or anything like that, I'm actually not feeling good about before Labor Day. Okay. So, well,
it'll be soon either way. And so if you are currently on a Pixel from 4A 5G all the way up to, whatever the 7s, and if you have a Pixel Fold or a Pixel tablet, you will get your Pixel 14 beta 5 if you're in the program. I got mine already. And basically nothing too surprising, fixes, including some specific to the Pixel Fold and the Pixel tablet. Android Central noted a particular fix that Google has been working on, and that is the kind of persistent issue with Wi-Fi scanning causing too much power consumption. They're still working on it. Maybe it's fixed now, but anyway, if you're on any of these devices, and in particular, if you're on the beta program, look out for that, and we'll see very soon the final countdown to Android 14. That is not the tune of that song that I was referencing. There we go. Thank you. Adam got me. Adam got my back.
How many betas did Android 13 go through? Did they go to 5? I'm trying to find a timeline here.
I got nothing. I don't run betas because as a reviewer, I can't really do that. I need to experience it as, the masses will. So I never do betas. I also don't really care. So shame on me. I know I'm a bad Android user because I never do betas. I never root phones, and I don't do any of that.
Okay, so last year Android 13 literally launched 1 year ago today on August 15th, 2022.
Hey,
so that's when
I'll do that.
Android 13 launched, right? Android 13 beta 4 launched on July 13th, 2022, and then August 15th they launched the stable launch almost a month later. So if you go by that, so Android 13 did not have a beta 5, where Android 14 does have a beta 5, and with and here I have the schedule. I can throw it up here so you guys can see it. 1 second. This is what happens when I'm driving the bus, and it's challenging. Where's Burke when I need him? There we go. All right, cool. So we can see there is the schedule, thanks to our friends at Android Authority. So there you can see the whole history between February and August. So it looks like there was a month between the last beta and the stable launch. So going by this, it looks as if Android 14 will launch mid-September. What do we think about that? Yeah.
That seems about right. I mean, why not? It's not like anything else is going to be launching in mid-September.
Right. says a man who might know things.
Techtember and Techtober are right around the corner, and don't get me wrong, it's great from a freelancer perspective because I'm going to be super busy.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a lot.
Yep. All right. Well, so we'll wait and see, but we'll see if we have to wait a whole another month for it. So cool. Well, that's the majority of the news. But and you have to excuse me. I was eating almonds before the show, and now they stick to the back of your throat, and it's not a good thing for a podcaster.
You did get your protein in. That's very important.
I did get my protein. Yeah. But it is that time of the week where our patrons over at patreon.com/AndroidFaithful get to help us pick a story to talk about. And sure enough, it was a close one this week. We gave 3 options for you all to pick from. A YouTuber flipped the Samsung Galaxy Flip 5 for a week straight to get it to break. That only got 11% of the vote. Waze was having problems on Android Auto. That got 42% of the vote. But the winner, drum roll please, was the fact that it was revealed that Google is working on the ability to cast media to your tablet from your phone simply by standing in front of it or near it. Dun 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 dun. I gotta admit, I'm shocked that this is the one that won, because I was like, so what? I mean, it is neat. It is very, very cool that you can utilize the ultra wideband chip to cast from a phone directly to the tablet device, which is neat. And it says here on we're on chromeunbox.com. They do say here, it says it sounds like science fiction, and it really kind of does. It's no different than Nearby Share, swiping files from one or another or something like that. It's just the idea of media. But here Chrome Unboxed, I love when they do this. They embedded our good friend Michelle Rahman, who can't make it this week on the show, who shared it on X with a thanks to @AssembleDebug for the tip. But it shows here how you're able to cast directly to your tablet from your phone. This is neat, but as an owner of a Pixel tablet and of a Pixel phone, I can't think of any scenario where I'm on my phone and I want to swipe it to the tablet itself. Now give me this functionality to my TV, and then you've got science fiction. Then you've got, like, if I just go from the phone and go like that and it goes, that's pretty cool. So maybe this is the beginning of it. But
I have a theory as to why this story won out.
Okay.
And it goes back to WebOS. Do you remember the days of WebOS?
Of
when
course.
You could share like web pages from your Palm Pre to your HP, tablet.
Yep.
I'm guessing people are feeling that vibe, and they're like, "Oh, we got to bring this," because it's like the last thing that that an operating system hasn't stolen from WebOS yet. So I'm here for it. I'm disappointed that it's only for the Pixel tablet. I would love to see this for, like you said, TVs, and I would even like it to be even more intuitive like that. Like you're watching media and you just walk up to your TV and it like just says, "Bong, here we go."
Yep.
You know, it's exactly like that. Although then I worry that I don't know if y'all have experienced this, but for the last month and a half or so, every time I ask my Google Assistant devices to do literally anything, I get a notification on 3 different phones asking,
Yep.
"Was that the right device? Was
Yep.
it really? Did we do it right? Please tell me, thank you." And like I would just be really afraid of a feature like this. You walk past your TV and all of a sudden it's like, "We're gonna put it on the TV now. Was that right?" It was just like, "No, it wasn't right. I'm just walking by."
I mean, the scenario that you outlined remind me of, and this is this is pre-Android, pre-iOS, pre-smartphone era. I was at a job where I was doing kind of like marketing, innovation, technology stuff, and I got invited out to Redmond to go to visit Microsoft, where they had built the home of the future.
Okay.
Right. And it was like early smart home stuff. And one aspect of it was that if you wore a little pin, kind of like a Star Trek communicator, and you were watching TV in the living room, and then you got up and walked to the kitchen, what you were watching would follow you and would move from the screen in the living room to the screen in the kitchen, and like that whole idea. Now it was prototype. It was all smoke and mirrors. It didn't actually work, but it was like conceptual. But when you think about it, our phones are our little Star Trek communicator pins, right? And so like, and if you are saying I'm actively watching something there, hypothetically, there's no reason why it can't follow you to all your screens. And I go from the living room with the TV to the kitchen with my Pixel tablet on the dock. Can the location services be so specific to pinpoint what room you're in and which device to go in? Or like you said, Adam, get a cacophony of Google Home and screens all up at the same time and just drive you crazy.
Well, and I'm sure Wynn can speak to this, but like, what happens if you're walking into the living room and your wife is already there watching a TV show? Do you override her? Or like, there's so many like teeny tiny decisions that have to be made. Like when you're programming something like that, and I'm not even a developer. I'm sure.
No, that's a really great point. So I think it's interesting. So within, I think, the discovery of this, it's called media tap to transfer. So the fact that it's media tap, what's the tap? And I kind of want it to be a weird gesture, because especially like using like
throw it,
like that kind of like a kind of like a fling thing, right? Like wait, is that on a sci-fi show where someone like flings a device and then the media like kind of almost like flies?
Yeah, well, that goes back to on our old show. I used to talk a lot about The Expanse. The Expanse kind of had that, where they had those little see-through terminals, and they would fling the phone, and it would go up there, or they would flick it, and like that sort of thing. So yeah.
So I mean, but I think that's what would be handy, and I think that's what's kind of getting me is like, how do you confirm? You know what I'm saying? Like at some point, maybe we'll AI everything, and the AI just knows from your body language, kind of like a segue when you want to stop or when you want to go, or when your wife is angry at you that you took over her watch-ins because, I was busy watching my anime review show or whatever, and you came over and took it over with your Final Fantasy 14 thing. These are things from my actual life. But I do think it's going to be interesting how the user experience, like end to end, works. And as you said, Adam, how to kind of smooth that out. But yeah, if media to tap is something kind of like with the phone, I think that'd be really cool. But
I'd be happy with just like an NFC thing. Like you just walk up.
Oh yeah,
to, like,
just kind of like
just have like a little thing on the TV where tap here or something like that. You just go boop and zoop.
Well, and then you got to wonder how long it takes for either a California proposition or EU to shut it down and not have like, you need some sort of consent, or you need some sort of like modal, or like, how can we, but I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on it, but this is neat. This is very cool. This is very sci-fi. This is very of the future, and using that ultra wideband channel, like on the phone and the tablet, it shows the, like what the Google ecosystem can do. So it'll be pretty cool.
I can't wait for 6 years from now when Apple invents it.
True.
Fantastic.
Truth.
All right, cool. Well, that's going to wrap up the news, right? And let's get into hardware.
Yes. So it is Samsung. It is the season of Samsung, since we're just a little bit. We're not quite a month away from Unpacked, and we've had many kind of folks kind of like talk about what their feelings and thoughts on the flippable revolution is from Samsung. And as Adam mentioned, he does fact write for Forbes, and he wrote 2 reviews. Well, not just 2. I mean, he's written probably many reviews, but he's written very, very specifically on the 2 Fs that we're going to talk about today: the fold and the flip. Adam, how do you feel about? Let's start with the fold. How was the fold for you?
The Fold is the most boring device that was announced at Samsung Unpacked, because so there's 2 ways to look at it. and there's the way I originally looked at it, and then there's the way that another reviewer looked at it that I read, and I'm just like, yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to go with their interpretation because it's a lot more positive. The Fold is the evolved design that Samsung has been moving towards for the last 4 years, which is to say that they have a new and improved hinge with more shock resistance, and it now folds flat, which is kind of the headline. That's the headline of the thing. There's no more gap. Do we want to bring up
I was just gonna say, I don't want to interrupt you, Adam, but we want to welcome, we do have another guest that's accompanying Adam. We have Skippy the review cam. So our video watchers watching the live stream, or people watching the video after the fact, Adam has been kind enough to set up a review camera so that you can see hands-on with the fold and the flip.
So now, if you looked at this on a table, you'd just be like, is that the 3? Is that the 4? Is that the 5? I honestly have no idea, because it looks very similar. It's got the same aspect ratio on the inside. It's got the same aspect ratio. The main difference is here in that this folds flat. In fact, I'll even go ahead and take off the laughably $100 case that Samsung's going to sell with us. Yeah, I said laughably.
S Pen? Does the S Pen, is the S Pen in that price?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
Now it is a much better S Pen case than the one from last year, because last year's looked like a CSI technician's case that had the S Pen in it. So so you can see it folds flat, which is primo, and kind of Samsung had to do that. There was really no excuses anymore. Like, I guess they could have leaned into it and said, well, we've always had a gap, so we're just going to keep the gap, and that's going to be our signature. Except they also realized it's a stupid signature. Anyway, so the front screen is still too small, in my humble opinion. It's kind of hard to type on this thing. It's anyway, it's a little bit too small. But when you open it up, you get a nice palatial canvas that you can play with, and you can do multitasking. As soon as I remember how to do the multitasking, that's not how to do it. You can do the split screen, and you can open up, I don't know, photos, sure, why not? And then you can even do a pop-up window above that if you want to. I mean, you could just multitask this thing to death if you want. So, and it's got the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 Force Galaxy processor in it, which is basically the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 with a little bit of overclocking. And so this thing could do just about anything you want to. You want to play Call of Duty, you can play Call of Duty. You want to play Genshin Impact on the maximum settings, you can absolutely do that. I would do that, except it takes, can we pull up some Genshin Impact? Why not? I'll chat while we let this load.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the 2 major things that happened with this phone were the folding flat and the hinge, which is designed to be more impact resistant. Yeah, confirm, whatever. And it wants me to update. Never mind, we're not playing Genshin. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So overall, the fold, I mean, again, this felt like an iterative update to the phones. Having the flat folding, minor, the processor updates, keeping specs up with the Jones, but really nothing revolutionary with the fold, at least, right?
No, I mean, the really cool part is this extra $100 case, which, I mean, it shouldn't cost $100, but it does have the S Pen built into there. It is a very nice, sleek S Pen, so it is specifically designed for the fold. If you try to use a different S Pen on here, pop-up window comes up and says, "Don't do that." But anyway, it's nice that you can carry the S Pen with you, because there are a few games that I play that are a lot easier to play with an S Pen rather than just, tapping with my big sausage fingers here. So the one thing that I kind of like, it's okay. I've got this this home screen mirroring thing turned on. So like right now, I've got my home screen here, and if I open it up, it shows that home screen plus your second screen. I never have a second screen. The only reason these widgets are here are so that I can have something over here when I open up the phone. So like that's kind of cool. The Google Pixel Fold does basically the same thing. The other option is you can turn off screen mirroring, and then you get a whole different home screen interface, which is actually, I think, the way that most people would prefer to do it, just because when you open up your phone, now you can have like a calendar widget and a weather widget and like all these things that normally take up a bunch of room. You can have that on the inside, but not take up a bunch of room on the outside. So I think that's the way that most people would do it. I don't go that way because I have a very specific way that I like to have my apps and folders, and I didn't want to have to replicate that on the second screen, but in a more spread out fashion. But like Samsung has done some really cool software things here. There's one thing that you can do. Let's see if I'm trying to figure out a way that I can do this quickly. Let me just. Okay, that's fine. So like you can grab, let me open up a web browser here. Hi, Timu. That's nice to see you there. I'm looking for something with a photo. There we go. So like if I wanted to grab this banner for some reason and like drag it down, I can then open it up a different thing, and then I can drag it like into that thing. So I think if I open up like a Google Doc, then I can let that go, and there it is.
I kind of love that.
That's pretty cool. And like that is a very smart use of this expansive canvas here. The other thing, what was the other thing? I had another thing I was going to show you, and I completely forgot what it was.
And you showed split screen. Like you can set up one in the left screen, one in the right screen, and then drag an image over to it, right? Like you could potentially do that.
Yeah,
right?
you can definitely do that too if you wanted to. Let me see. Can I do that? Yeah, in like a new document, I guess, or something. But I mean, the cool thing is that you can actually use two fingers at the same time, so that like you could be like, oh, I don't have that app open. Now I can open it up and drag it over. If you could definitely do the one to the other thing. But what makes that really cool is that you can actually use that second hand in a useful way and like open up a second window if you need to. The other cool thing that Samsung, this isn't exactly new, but actually it is new this year for the, can we transition over to the S9 for a moment?
Yeah,
for
S9, sure. Yeah.
To the Tab S9 Ultra.
Yep.
So what Samsung did with the Tab S9 Ultra and the Galaxy Fold, I'm going to have to attach the keyboard here, sorry, and I'm going to bash my microphone while I do it. They introduced this thing called multi-control, which allows you to use a single. I need to get out of Dex mode here for a second. It allows you to use a single keyboard and mouse on multiple devices. So, for example, if I do, I think I need to turn it on. It's already on. So, I think I need to connect to it. That's what it is. Connect phone. Adam's Fold. Oh, it was here. And so like it does that, and you see this like this.
Oh, cool!
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah. So now if I use the mouse over here,
for audio listeners, the S9 Tab Ultra is next to the Fold, and you turn it on, and you get a little gray bar on the left side on the phone showing that it's connected to the tablet to the left of it, which is a nice little visual prompt. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And now the mouse cursor is going from one screen to the other, which is crazy magic. How is it doing that?
Wait, so can you drag from your like an image from your phone to your tablet?
I never tried that. I guess we could try it now if we want. Let me go up.
That is wild. How is it doing that?
That's amazing.
So yeah, it connects via, I believe, Wi-Fi, unless I'm mistaken. Let me try to drag this over
Oh,
here.
my God, it worked. So he just dragged an image from a web browser on his phone via a mouse onto the tablet into a document.
And
And
it's thinking about it.
it came over like when you were clicked on it when it was active. So the graphic was there. And then the moment he dropped it, we're getting a little cursor. And it's just
Oh.
File corruptor not supported. That's awesome.
Oh no.
So close.
I know.
Close.
I was very
Close.
I wonder if I can find. Let me try this guy here. It's still thinking
same
about
thing.
it.
Same thing.
Probably. Unless, what if I grab like just a static image, like this little icon here?
Oh yeah, W's got us in chat. Yeah, it did. A Synergy was what I was thinking of too, because I ran Synergy for a hot second in college, I think, which is it was multiple devices, but yeah.
Well, we all experimented in college.
Yeah, that's what a college is for.
All right. Well,
my mind is perpetually in the gutter, so I want this to work. Darn it! But I guess that kind of did something. You can also do like a copy and a paste in between the two devices if you want. So
awesome,
if you let's see if I just like do now. Fine, I'll just grab. I'm in a geocaching app right now for those of you who are listening. So if I copy there, I should be able to cut. Copy over there.
Text worked. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So what I like about this is that Samsung is building in like a true ecosystem of devices that all work together. It's not just a here's a PC, here's a tablet, here's a phone. The S9 Ultra can also act as a wireless second screen, but only for a Samsung-based PC. So it has to be like a Galaxy Book or something like that. I don't have a Samsung PC, so I wasn't able to test that particular functionality. But still, multi-control is kind of cool because you can have your phone over here and you can like go over there and check your your emails or something like that. And then you can go back to work over here. And, this particular tablet, especially in Dex mode, I mean, you can see on the dock here, I've got like 87 different apps open up here. I've got Telegram and Prime and Slack and Chrome. I can do my job on this tablet if I wanted to. And the really cool part about that is this thing is 5.5 millimeters thick. So once I take off that and once I take off that, I mean, this is a super thin.
Is that thinner than the folded?
Let's find out. I want to say it is unfolded.
But folded when it's the thick remote control, it's got to be the tablet's got to be thinner, right?
Oh yeah, the tablet's way thinner than it is it is folded. But like even unfolded, I mean, you can see they're not too far apart from each other. And this is, by the way, the S Pen that's magnetically attached to the back, which I honestly like. I'm not an artistic person, so I don't use the S Pen a whole heck of a lot. I've got a trackpad. Why would I want to use an S Pen? But that attaches magnetically to the back here and has a little handy dandy cover on there, which is nice.
Cool.
So that is kind of the Tab S9 in a nutshell.
And then you've got the flip somewhere there, don't you?
And I have the flip. And this is arguably the most exciting device that Samsung launched because it gives you this massively huge cover screen, which allows you to do. It's similar to the Motorola Razr Plus. Was this show around when the Razr Plus came out? I know it was like right around transition time.
Well, I don't think it was. We didn't talk that much about the Razr Plus.
Okay. Yeah. So the major selling point to the Razr Plus is how much you can do with just the outside screen, and the same thing is here too. You can check your notifications here, and the Cubs are losing because of course they are. But then you have like different widgets that have been optimized for this. Alarms, and this is like my step counter. I don't know why it thinks I've done 4,300 steps today because I haven't been carrying this phone like all day. But anyway, there's also a select few number of apps that you can run on this, and running apps on the outside screen. Now, with the Razr, you can basically do any app that you want. There's like, I think I said I had 200 some apps on my phone, and the Razor gave me the ability to do like 167 of them. So it's like basically any app that you want. Samsung is offering a much more curated solution here, where it's only going to give you a certain number of apps that are kind of like approved. I'm using air quotes here. And those are, let's see, I think Maps, YouTube. You'll have to bear with me. I've had this phone for exactly 24 hours at this point. So it's like Maps, YouTube, a couple of messaging apps, and I think Netflix. And then if you want to go farther than that, you can open up an app called Good Lock, which you can download, I believe, from the Galaxy Store. And then through that method, you can enable other apps to work on the outside screen. The value proposition here is that you don't have to open the phone all that much. So you only have to power this tiny little screen, and you can get through easily a whole day just using this screen. I mean, with the Motorola Razr, I would say my usage is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 70% of the time I don't bother opening the phone because I can do anything I want.
That's fascinating.
With this phone, it's a little bit more limited just because Samsung, Motorola did the spaghetti against the wall type thing. Let's see what sticks. And it lets you go in and determine, oh, this app works great on the cover screen. Oh, this app does not work great. Let's not do that anymore. Whereas with Samsung, it's a much more curated, here's what we think you're going to want to do on the cover screen. And for the most part, Samsung is very right. So but it is much more of a, I see some of your commenters are using the term walled garden, which is not inaccurate at all.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say the tone of the chat room right now, JJ and some of the other folks and stuff like that are talking about how this is feeling a lot like an Apple device in terms of the walled garden and like curating. We're picking what you're gonna want. But Adam, you just said something which I found terribly interesting, is that for the most part, they're right?
Yeah.
So I think so because like if you do like the Motorola thing where you just like let anybody do anything you want, you're going to run into some apps that absolutely don't work and have no business being on just a cover screen. One game in particular I play, it's called Cody Cross. It's kind of like a little crossword puzzle kind of game, and I tried playing that on the outside screen, and it messed up in so many different ways, because it's just not designed to work on a 3.6-inch screen. Other apps like the apps that Samsung curated, specifically like the Netflix controls, and you can see that the cover screen here is kind of a funky shape. We've got this kind of like a dip down here on the side
around the cameras, right?
Yeah. So Motorola, let me just, I keep talking about it. Motorola, they put their screen all the way down here, all along, and around the cameras as well.
Yeah,
so
like a pinhole approach, basically, by having having the screen wrap around the two holes for the camera. So,
and when I say that you can run any app that you want on here, I mean every app you could possibly want on this outside screen. Wow. It just doesn't stop. I mean, like I said, it's like 160 some apps. And so like I can open up my geocaching app and I can go to the map, and then I can move the map really quickly so you don't see where I live. And I can see these. Yes, I know I'm on the Android Faithful podcast. You don't have to tell me, Samsung. Anyway, so now like I can see, where all the geocaches are around my house, and it's really nice. I don't even have to open the phone to do it. But then like, other apps, I'll see if I can, if I pull up Cody Cross, this is the one that I'm talking about. It takes forever to load, so I'll talk through it. This one you'll see does not work at all. Like it's laughably bad. So like if I wanted to do that same thing on the Samsung, I have to go through like 2 different hoops that I have to jump through in order to get to a point where I can put Cody Cross on this screen in a really, really bad way. And so like, and I think Samsung's kind of serving as kind of like a roadblock to say, you really shouldn't do that. And,
yeah, I mean, I kind of get that. Like, so it's kind of funny because I remember we had Chet Haas on a couple of weeks ago and we were talking about the Flip. And I think he had that same resistance to like, how open is this? Like, what can you actually run, or how curated or how gated, is this outside screen? And so I think in terms of like the spirit of Android, no, this is not very Android spirity. But maybe this is just me becoming a cynical dev after many years. And again, I'm always gonna cop to it's
cynical dev, whatever could you mean?
I know, right? It's just so just unicorn over here. But like after all the years of us kind of being so resistant on, different form factors, what happens is that, and I've seen this for even just casually talking to friends of mine who use like the Fold, right? When a software experience doesn't fit the form factor, it becomes like it usually the inclination is to blame the device, right? Because usually maybe this is that person's first time working with a foldable phone. And so I can see, for us who are maybe more Android enthusiasts, the Android faithful, we're kind of used to it, like for those of us that like, root and like are used to like, yeah, it's like, whatever. But I think for Samsung, they want to keep this foldable train going. They want to get more people on it. And the best way to do that is to provide people the best experience, which is going to be curated. And like, without saying anything NDA, I've actually been at a couple companies where, Samsung tends to like, hey, cool app person, do you want to like do a thing for us? And like, but that's their approach, is to find partners and do really tailored experiences. So from a business side, and also like if I was just, in isolation, dev wanting to make my app as successful as possible, that makes a lot of sense. Or, if I was a hardware, it would make a lot of sense. But yeah, it's not the most Android-y thing. So I can kind of see it both ways.
Yeah. Can we pop on Skippy real quick? I just want to. So like, this is what I'm talking about. So this is Cody Cross on the Note or on the Fold. I keep calling this the Note, and I'm really mad at myself doing it.
It's the Note next generation. Yeah.
It is. So like, this is that game on the Fold, and the one thing that you notice is like this is really optimized for the Fold. Like it looks really good. This is that same game. On the Motorola, and
it's unplayable. That's unplayable.
It's not playable. You can't even see like a single line. So I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like when I say that it's just really, it's suboptimal. But the one thing that I want to finish off my thought on the Note is, or the Fold again. Is that the Fold has been around for so long that app developers have actually come around to it, and they've actually designed their game to work very well on the screen. This same game does not look good on a Google Pixel Fold because of the different aspect ratio.
Interesting.
It doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look good either. Yeah. And so what you're going to find with the Fold is that more apps are optimized for this type of screen because the Fold has been around for so long.
Yep. Interesting. All right. So all in all, across these three devices, Fold, Flip, the Tab, thumbs up, thumbs down. Like how are you feeling about the latest offering from Samsung?
All right. So I'll do each one in a tweet. This is a lot of necessary upgrades. The final evolution. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the Fold 5 is a lot of necessary upgrades. The final evolution. This is where what's going to get interesting is next year when Samsung actually has meaningful competition in the United States, what they're going to do with this device. The Tab S9 is the best Android tablet that you can buy, hands down. It's not even a question. But this package that you're looking at right here is the base model plus the book cover, which Samsung does not ship in the box. Anyway, and so this whole package is like $1,300, and you're in laptop territory there.
Base model.
Spendy, as I believe somebody in the chat said. Spendy.
It's very spendy. It's this is basically a 2-in-1 computer that happens to run Android. So, and then this is arguably the most exciting device that Samsung released. They finally did the cover screen the right way, except they're still holding it back with software. I get why they're doing it. I don't necessarily like it, but I get it. And so that's kind of my summation of the three devices that I brought home from South Korea. I did not get any watches.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for showing that off. It was great to have all those devices. It's the first time we've had all three of those devices on the show. Mashal also went to Korea. He came back with the Fold, and he was playing with it. We got a little quick glimpse of that. We're waiting for his full review of it, but to see all three of them is great to see.
Nice. I
But
didn't know Michelle was in Korea. I never saw him.
he was there. Wow, he was at the same event. Oh, that's a bummer.
What the heck?
Um,
He
yeah,
must not have been there with the. I don't know. Samsung had a lot of different contingents there.
yeah,
So like they had American press, and then they had press from. I mean, he's American press, so I don't know
yeah.
why he wouldn't have been with us. But
That's true.
there were a lot of like distinct groups that were unpacked for Samsung. So
They
he must
packed,
have been in a different group.
they packed them in for Unpack. That's for sure.
They did. They did.
What did you?
It was
What
a
were you
very
what were you
long
about to
flight.
say?
I did want to say, like, so y'all lucky people that got devices, I'm very happy for you. No jelly, because if you did order, say, like any of the devices, for example, I ordered Z Flip 5, the original ship date was August 11th. Last week I checked, it was August 18th. Today I checked, it is September 8th. And I
geez.
looked on forums, and I think a lot of people are being surprised by the continual pushback. And these are people that ordered the day of Unpacked.
Is that pointing towards the demand that so many people wanted it, or the manufacturing that Samsung didn't make enough?
It might be manufacturing. So just to give context, I ordered one of the Samsung.com exclusive colors, the yellow one. And if you look
Nice.
on the site, the dates for ship are different. So yeah, if y'all pick the fancy colors, that might be it too. I think the ship date on like the standard colors is a little bit sooner, like still in August. But anyway, if y'all haven't checked on your ship dates in a while and you're curious, you might want to go check your order number, especially if you got a fancy color.
There you go.
Yeah,
All right.
might want to double check that. One last note for JJ4884. Oh, actually, Technomensch just answered it for me. I don't root or hack or put on betas, so sorry, I have no idea if you.
Well, we're gonna talk about the One UI 6 in a minute when we get to that question. But so before there, real quickly on the topic of folds, Samsung is going to have some competition from Xiaomi's new Mi Mix Fold. The Mi Mix Fold 3 is out. And it's gotten lots of good reviews, and people saying that the large battery, the fast charging, the quote unquote, and here we're looking at Android Police's coverage, the usable outer screen of it is really giving the Xiaomi approach to the foldable a bit of an edge. I haven't got a chance to really look in too deep to it. But it seems as if the thinner design, and here we're showing the Xiaomi kind of hype video as they animate the fold, not the fold, the Fold 3 coming together as it folds.
Hinge,
they're
It kind of looks like the trench run from Star Wars, honestly. If
you
you have contacts on what it is.
a little bit.
But this one looks pretty cool if you're looking at it. If it's got that woven background, woven back kind of texture on the backside on the display list side of it, that without the display where the cameras are. It's got those Leica lenses. So Xiaomi stepping into the foldable world pretty heavy with this third generation of their phone. So be curious if anybody gets to put their hands on it. But the fact that it's got a usable front screen in comparison to the Samsung one, I think is a very interesting angle for it. So.
And I think I think the price that we saw, if you translate it to USD, is actually like around 1,200, 1,300.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So basically it's launching in China with 12 gig of RAM and 256 storage for roughly about $1,250. And then they've got a higher end model at 16 gig of RAM and one terabyte of storage.
Goodness gracious.
$1,500
for $1,500.
This is cheaper than the Pixel Fold.
No, that's like, that's kind of, I mean, again, assuming that we're on like in the world where we consider $1,800 foldable not ridiculous, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So if you were in China, pick one of these up, and maybe if you can find a way to get phones from China, go for it. So.
If you live, I've never been to China, and I would love to visit sometime. But I get the feeling like if you go to China and you like trip and fall the wrong way, you're probably going to land on a foldable phone. Like it just seems like there are so many foldables over there. It's like I'm kind of jealous because now that I've had a chance to play with so many foldable phones, like we were talking about it a little bit off air, but I find candy bar phones boring now because like foldables are just so exciting and so neat.
Yep.
But yeah, sorry.
Cool. All right. Well, so that's going to wrap us up on hardware and run out a bit of time. So we're going to get through a bunch of app stuff. But Huyen, you've got the first one. This is a story that you've been tracking for a couple of weeks now, right?
Yeah. So we talked a little bit, I think, back with Max about some kind of like suspected Google Photos updates. So there is an update rolling out today, August 15th, which is probably the most sizable Google Photos update to date for at least for a while. It is unfortunately a US only update, but that crazy navigation bar, the pill bar, chip bar that I like to call is not there. But the memories that those generated scrapbooks that have like different themes where Google Photos collects a bunch of your photos and then creates like kind of like delightful little scrapbook experiences for you. That is its own tab now within the Google Photos app. It's down there on the bottom nav bar that it's still docked, not floating, but still docked. And so you're going to be able to, access those directly rather than having it just be up in that carousel on the top. And along with this are a couple of additional features. It's not just kind of a reorganization of the content, but with your memories, you can now actually have people collaborate. So the memories are actually an album, and then Google Photos does some magic to kind of do a very nice like slideshow of them. So now with memories, you can actually collaborate and invite your friends and family to add albums to your memories. Your memories, montages, collages, one of those things, something in some kind of age. You get to have people helping you with those. And also, let's see. Also, you will get the chance to take these memories. So again, these are like, they work pretty well within Google Photos, right? Because they're like this like little scrapbook thing, but you really couldn't do anything. You probably share them with another Google Photos user. But if you were aching to get some kind of like nice little scrapbooking experience that that Google made for you, and put it out there on your TikToks, on your X/Twitter, whatever X now, it's X now. We're not there. The bird is dead, unfortunately, or your Instagrams or whatever on your threads. There will be now a feature to export any memory as a video, so for much easier sharing. And last and quickly, if you are signed up for the latest experiments from Google Labs, there is, of course, a generative AI feature in the works for Google Photos called Help Me Title. If you just want help titling a group of photos you put together, go to Google or sign up for Google Labs and hit that Help Me Title button that should appear and see what generative AI does for you. And there you go. There's your Google Photos update.
That's very funny. It's so funny because I'm looking at my Google Photos and I have the little pill menu you can see there.
Is there?
I have it in my Google Photos where it's got all photos or memories. You see, it says there above the menu.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm in this weird beta transition state between
A/B tested.
I'm clearly A/B testing. But I've got the whole new memories section on there, and honestly, like I went to it and I was like, oh, I don't have the patience for this. And I quickly went back to my all photos. I'm like, I immediately felt stressed out that I need to organize my memories and things.
Oh,
like
no.
That.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I just want Assistant to do that. Like, and my problem with Google Photos and the Assistant that does that is it will do like, hey, look at these similar shots that we found. And it's just like, yeah, of course, that's where I go to take my test photos.
Right.
Like, and so, yeah, of course, there's 87 pictures of me standing in front of the Great America sign. That's because that's where I do all my selfie tests. Like, I mean, come on. And so I kind of wish Google was a little bit smarter about that. Like, maybe there's a reason that he's taking all these different photos, and maybe we should just knock that the heck right off. But
I'm surprised they don't have like a generative AI prompt for memories. Like, hey, like create a scrapbook of our trip to Portland or something. You know what I'm saying? And then do the thing rather than it always suggesting, oh, hey, here's you 8 years ago. Oh God, I'm so old is usually like the response. Maybe that's what I get stressed out too, but more like, oh God, what is all the things that used to happen or all the things I used to be able to do, but I can't anymore.
Yeah. So, all right. So going back, we can't. It's like we can't even take a step without talking about Samsung. But going back to Samsung, some big news in the software world of Samsung as they officially launched the OneUI 6 beta for Android 14. The number of people who are excited by this is just fascinating and blows my mind. But basically this is, as Android 14 is on the exit ramp, as we were talking earlier in the show, OneUI 6, for Samsung users is as important as is the Android version. So this beta rolls out for the Galaxy S23. I know JJ in the chat and some other folks were asking whether or not it would work on the Fold or the Flip. It looks like as of now, it does not. It does work on the earlier versions of the Fold and the Flip, though, I believe on 4 and backwards, but not on the 5s as of yet. And that's got to be some version kind of issue. But friend of the show, Max Weinbach, had a whole bunch of a great breakdown on his X account, showing some of the changes and the things that you can expect from it. And the folks at Sam Mobile were gracious enough to pull together all of the beta features and improvements and changes And there is a lot, and I am not a OneUI person, so I apologize to everybody in the audience who is a OneUI zealot. Huyen, so you can tell me if these are important or not. But it looks like, lots of changes to the quick panel. You got a new button layout, quick access to brightness control, improved album art, enhanced layout for notifications, sort notifications by time, which is pretty cool. On the lock screen, you can reposition your clock. Everybody who's been asking for that for Christmas or Hanukkah, there you go. You can reposition your clock in OneUI. The home screen allows for simplified icon labels now. They're limited to a single line for cleaner and simpler look. So Galaxy and Samsung have been removed from some app names, which is like, I feel like the definition of bloatware is when they put the brand name in there. I am a font nerd, and I will define the fact that they have a new default font did get my attention. They say it's got a more stylish and modern feel, and you can select that font in the settings. So new font out there for you Samsung folks. On the multitasking side, you can keep pop-up windows open instead of minimizing them. They've got new emoji designs that appear on the keyboard, picture and video previews, extra sharing options for content, a new weather widget. I feel like, got a new version, new weather widget, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to come with the territory. Right? Lots of going on with the camera. They've got custom camera widgets, alignment options for the watermarks, quick access to settings for the resolution, a picture leveler, which the Pixel kind of already has, document scanning, quality optimization, auto FPS settings for videos, which could be super helpful in low light conditions. So the list kind of goes on and on and on. Yeah. If you're a Samsung person, I'm sure you've been all over this already, but lots and lots of changes in this. This is a pretty big deal, isn't it, Win? Like as a Samsung user.
Yeah. I mean, I guess now I'm a Pixel Fold user, but yeah, no, I think it's kind of interesting because I think the expansiveness of the list is I guess I'll compliment Samsung in this case is indicative of how customizable and how kind of like just fully featured. I feel it's like too positive, but just the fact that there's just a lot in OneUI, and so they've tried to like up the game on everything. So I don't know if it is tempting to open my Fold 4 back up, but it's
you are like a game of ping pong this summer with phones. I feel like you keep
I want my Flip 5 now. I have the Razor actually recharging on my living room couch, and I was going to drive that today. But they're all foldables. If it doesn't have a hinge, I don't want it.
Wow,
that's what I'm saying.
You can call me Ms. Mobile.
You're foldable convert, right?
Totally.
All right, cool. Well, we got one last story to go through before we're going to call it a night, and that is you get your Adam. You might want to get your drink ready because Win is going to talk about
Jetpack. Yeah. So I really like this story, and it's a dev story, but as a dev that has written an emoji picker from scratch some years ago for Trello, but also as a user who I love Signal as a messaging app. I cannot stand their emoji picker. So I'm excited on multiple fronts because what happens is, Jetpack, which is like this suite of libraries that Google puts out to help Android developers do kind of commonplace things easier, and also to help with the make things more easier and consistent across the fragmented landscape of Android. We now have an emoji picker. So I know this doesn't seem like a huge deal, but it kind of is. And so this is basically a pre-built component that devs can now, with not a lot, but some effort, hook into. And so I know this doesn't sound like a big deal, but again, as someone who has written an entire one from scratch, it is a big deal. And I'm going to tell you really quick why. So
they could do it in 3 steps here. We're here on the Android developers blog. It's literally it's so funny as someone who's worked in product and have had engineers throw things at me when I go, it's just a couple of lines of code. This is literally just a couple of lines of code.
You just literally just put it in. Like your code, and it'll spit out emojis to you. So something that is actually a big deal with emojis is fragmentation, like the F word, but not because of Android specifically, but because just like our favorite, robot themed OS, the Unicode puts out a new version of emojis every year. And so you actually get fragmentation in your emojis if you say have, some content, some text that has an emoji that your phone for whatever reason, because it doesn't have the right fonts or it's an old version. I mean, it's all down to fonts. It doesn't support, right? So you end up seeing the tofu, which is the legit technical name for that kind of like white square for when the text renderer encounters an emoji that it can't render. So the Jetpack emoji picker will actually be able to tell like what version of the emoji set you're working with, and in the picker it will actually hide any emojis that aren't supported in your current device, in the device that it's living in, which is a huge deal because that actually did come up when I was writing the emoji picker for Trello. We were like, oh, we want everyone to have the most emojis. Oh, and if you're on the live stream, you can actually see the emoji picker that I made. I kind of like looked at Slack and copied the design because I didn't really have a lot of design help. But yeah, I made this from scratch, by the way. So if you're watching the video, you can go ahead and see Huyen's efforts at making emoji picker. But I would be happy if Trello threw this away for the Jetpack one. So yeah, and then other things like the fact that, you look at an emoji picture, it's a bunch of images scrolling around. Performance is really hard, especially on low resource phones. So the Jetpack emoji pick will be a little bit, hopefully more smooth when it comes to like rendering and scrolling. And then finally, variants. So a really, really awesome thing about Unicode emoji is the variants. So basically with emojis, and I think I've talked about this on the show before, the way that Unicode works is that you can actually, in essence, add emojis together. And when you add emojis together, they create like a new emoji, not like Emoji Kitchen, but like legit, like if you have like a person emoji and then you put the right skin tone modifier or the right gender modifier, you'll get different variants of the same emoji. And designing a user experience around letting someone pick their variant of choice is kind of difficult. I was very proud of the little like hand skin tone experience that I did on the Trello thing. Again, watch the video stream. But again, this will also be integrated, and so that I guess that's kind of another benefit is that you get a nice Google design for the emoji picker instead of like stealing the design of Slack like I did, at least the design of emoji picker in Slack like 5 years ago. So anyway, hopefully in the future you'll get a little more consistent emoji picker experience. Signal, I'm talking to you. I love your app, but your emoji picker drives me up the wall. So Jetpack emoji picker, look it up. 3 lines. You got it. Anyway, that's your Android dev news for the week.
Congratulations. I'm very excited for you and all developers.
Excited.
So yeah.
I think one of your commenters mentioned, is it weird that developers had to code an emoji picker themselves? And yes, it is actually deeply weird that it took this long.
It is weird. I don't even know how to tell you because at the time that I wrote the emoji picker, it was kind of already established that emoji reactions were a thing, mostly because of Slack. And yeah, it's a really hard problem because, like, again, fonts, because a lot of it's around fonts and then having the right font to render the thing. It is weird, and it's kind of weird because the Unicode specification for emojis is actually really well defined and really predictable. It just takes work. It takes work. So it just takes a lot of work. And that's the kind of thing that ROI, I don't know. Anyway.
Cool. Well, thank you, Huyen, for sharing that. That's excellent. That's Huyen's Dev Corner there for you. So, all right. Well, we are running out of time. Normally, we'd love to hear from you, the audience, but we're going to skip that this week. So you can shoot us an email at contact@androidfaithful.com. We want to hear from you. I think I even have it. Yeah, there you go. Email us at contact@androidfaithful.com. Let us know what you think of any of the topics talked about the show or other topics. Ask us questions, challenge us. We love to hear from you. Please write in, everyone. Adam, sir, thank you so much for joining the show. We really appreciate it. Once again, tell folks, this is your chance to plug folks. Where should they look for you?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on again. My primary outlet where you can get all of me is Benefit of the Doud. Is the Benefit of a Doud podcast /YouTube channel. We're looking at the YouTube channel as we speak. And that's where you can find me. Also benefitofadoubt.com, even though that website is massively overdue for an overhaul. On the socials, you can find me at Dead Technology at all of the things except for Facebook and Twitter. And no, the irony that I'm not on Facebook, but I am on Threads and Instagram is not lost on me. And finally, you can find all my writings on SlashGear and Forbes Vetted if you want to know what I think about all the electric gadgets that I had today and all the ones that are coming out, because, man, I'm just doing a lot of them. And the best place you can reach me is benefitofadoubt.com or youtube.com/benefitofthedoud, spelled like my last name, Doud, because I hate good branding.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Adam. We loved having you on the show. We hope to have you on future episodes. We really appreciate it.
Hells yeah.
So, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me. I obviously, very obviously now am like an Android dev. I post any kind of technical talks that I do and other technical content on my website, randomlytyping.com. And you can find me on social networks at Queen Code Monkey. And I would just like to say that without a doubt, I'm so glad that we are with a doubt today, Adam. It was so good to have you, and especially in the new show, and hopefully more often.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you, Adam, and thank y'all.
Cool. And last but not least, you can find me. I'm on the internet. I am RonXO, pretty much wherever I can be. Here's, video viewers. You can see me on Instagram. I like music. I like food. And you can see me post about that and movies and fun stuff on Instagram. But I am on X. I'm on Facebook. I am on Threads. I am on Mastodon. I'm Blue Sky. All that stuff at RonXO. That's where you can find me.
Are you on T2 yet? Have you gotten onto T2?
I have not. I
I abandoned T2 in favor of Threads.
I logged on to Hive and then never logged in again. I just go into squat my name and then I ban.
Yep.
But,
I need to do that for
exactly
Hive because everyone was doing it.
So, but as mentioned, as always, head over to androidfaithful.com where you can subscribe to the show. You can support. You can go over to Patreon and throw your support there. You can follow us on the various socials or whatnot. We appreciate everybody who has supported us and watches the show every week. You can watch us live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And of course, this podcast is released every Tuesday night after we do it live. Channel at Good Day Internet. Email us at contact@androidfaithful.com again. And we will see you next time on Android Faithful. Thanks, everyone.
Do a Roxbury thing.
All right. Yeah, there it is.
There we go. Yeah, Adam. Adam's got my back.
Really
Adam